grabbing. I mean, Doran still has his Gragas. There's so many iconic picks that are still up and available. We can see more aggressive picks, things like Draven. There's less meta picks like Ziggs, the AP bot laners that you can bring out. Ashe is still available. Caitlyn is still available. So there's still tons that these players can reach out and grab. To me, the question is not, can you find a champion that you can play in Game 5? The question is, can you find a champion that you can play in Game 5 that has a good lane matchup, that is part of a cohesive composition, that is also better than the composition that your opponents have crafted? And that is why Game 5 is so uniquely difficult. There's no prep you can really do because everything is based on what has happened in the series.
The finals ban rate for Nico, for Pantheon, and for Varus will remain at 100% for the series. Kai'Sa and Maokai also banned out by T1, who are back on the blue side as GENG think about their final ban in the first half.
You have to imagine that Caitlyn is very high on the priority list for T1. GENG throw down the gauntlet. Canyon's Nidalee is still available, but T1, will they prioritize their AD carry? Do they have something else in mind?
Nidalee's available, as is its most classic pairing, the Renekton. So, the question is, do they want to deny it? And I actually think this is quite smart because Renekton is quite powerful at this stage of the game here with so many champions out of the pool. It also kind of denies the Nidalee by issue of taking its best pairing away.
Well, to feel that for Canyon, it's just a champion that he's so amazing at. What we were looking at his win rate, 83% all-time career or something ridiculous like that. The Aatrox currently being hovered on the side of GENG.
And surprisingly enough, Leona still is available here. One of those primary engaged supports that can be very, very popular.
There it is!
They'll take it anyway. Renekton not required.
I would not mind a Leona pairing. You need some sort of Hearts AC, I really do think. Some sort of setup to be able to land those spears, but maybe Canyon feels like, hey, I don't need it. I can just make it work anyway. Kobe talked about it on the desk. Last time we saw the Nidalee come out for Canyon against Oner, it was Oner's Lee Sin that really did rule the day, but the Lee Sin, of course, is banned out. So many of the strong physical damage junglers are all gone. You're having to reach pretty deep. Things like Nefiri that haven't been very popular. Things like Zed and Talon, if you want to go towards that AD route. Things like Kindred that we haven't really seen at all. Or you have to go the other path and go into some of these AP junglers. Things like we saw from Oner, such as the Lilia coming out.
My goodness. I mean, I don't even know what predictions to throw out when you're this late to the draft. Different priorities naturally rise. As you mentioned earlier, Azael, things shift. We talked about the Caitlyn earlier. That is currently the hover. And with time running out, Gumayusi will be bringing out his tried and true Caitlyn in this Game 5.
I think we may just get Caitlyn Karma here. Honestly, I do think it would be a really tough lane to contest this late into the draft. But Faker considering just going for the Ahri. Karma makes a lot more sense to me. I do think this is just so smart here. You're denying the strongest pairing for the expected jungler. You're taking a lane-dominant 2v2 with very few answers remaining here. I do think something like Ashe could work, but Ashe has been so unpopular at MSI. It is a strong laner, though, and especially when you're this late in the game, there's not a lot of engaged champs. It can help to kind of bridge that gap, too. So I'll be interested to see if GENG do actually consider it.
T1 with a strong laner for topside, with a strong duo in their bot lane in the first 3 picks. GENG, though, will lock in the Aurora. You can see here 6 and 9 throughout the tournament. It's been popular, but it hasn't been the most successful.
But you have to come back to the question of, is it Chovy piloting it? The man is a monster on this champion, and with the pool as limited as it is, GENG can attack that mid lane. They can narrow the options available, but it depends how confident Canyon feels in what he is playing against Oner. They have so much luxury in what they can limit. T1 can go for, but T1 can respond by narrowing that AD carry pool.
They're going to ban the TF. They could ban the Ahri that was hovered earlier if they are trying to really focus in on Faker here. Now, Faker does have so many champions he's played over the years. The question is, how comfortable is he in a high-pressure situation like this, bringing something out that he maybe hasn't been scrimming with recently? Because that can be the situation sometimes if you're getting heavily target banned and flex picks have been used for other roles in a Game 5 series.
The Sylas, I mean, it's a rough matchup in the laning phase, but potentially in the context of the comp.
Wow.
I mean, I guess they're anticipating a possible Lilia to come through from Oner.
Yeah.
an AP champion that can wave clear very fast to try and keep up with the Nidalee, and that means that they would need an AD mid with the Yasuo gone. Perhaps Yone is an alternative for Faker. Not one of his best champions throughout his career, but definitely still an option.
I mean, it'll be really interesting. The Lilia is definitely what I was thinking of as, you know, more of these champions are getting banned out, especially if we do see more melee champs in the mix. When Oda brought it out yesterday, it was versus 4 melee, which I think was such a key part of it being so dominant. This is much more long-range comp. So I do think, yes, you can still make Lilia work. You can stack up your Q and look for Q flashes and things like that with the additional move speed to get in on backline. But it is a much harder game to play than the situation we saw him bring it out in yesterday. So yes, we are being pushed into Game 5, but really, when you look at a lot of these compositions, minus maybe the Nidalee, but that's a Canyon special, you could see this much earlier in a draft.
All right, misfortune for GENG with Leona, with Blitzcrank banned away. The thing that I'm looking at here on this composition, a total lack of engage, a lack of lockdown. GENG still need hard CC somewhere as we wait to see the T1 picks for jungle and mid.
And that's where you maybe start to really cook. Maybe you go to a weird support here, something that is off meta. It's going to be Viego Ahri. Yeah, as soon as you lock the Viego, I think you're going Ahri here because it's such a strong pairing. It's about that upfront burst. Ahri enables Viego by helping you get that first reset. And then Viego, of course, is helping Ahri as well by finishing off that kill, giving you additional charges of the ultimate to continue running over fights here. Very exciting stuff, but not easy engage tools being drafted. Pyke would give them some way to start a fight, but it is so risky.
Thinking about Gragas as an option as well, the hover.
Gragas support, I think, could be smart.
Oh, they're going full. Ooh.
Nope.
Oh.
We're going Pyke.
My goodness, Duro. Carrier was one of his idols while he was attempting to make his way through the challenger scene in Korea. Upon being part of the LCK and having to face Carrier, he realized the gap that existed between them. But here he is today, matching against Carrier and bringing out a champion that is synonymous with the man. Duro will be playing Pyke into Carrier's Karma.
The new addition to the team here, Game 5 international tournament here. You're up against T1 and you're slamming the Pyke here. 5th pick, has only played it 6 times in his entire career. Has not played it this split whatsoever.
T1 have a lot of single target damage. When we think back to yesterday, Game 2, they snowballed a game perfectly. That's the level of play we're going to need to see from them. Picks across the map and early game domination against the teamfight comp from GENG.
They have an incredible amount of single target damage, but there's also so many good targets presenting themselves on GENG. There's really not much tankiness whatsoever on their side.
This is it. GENG, can they find the creativity? Can they find the playmaking with this very non-traditional, non-heavy engaged comp? Or will T1's single target capability enable the Viego to reset and dominate these fights and propel them to their first MSI win since 2017?
I've got to say, GENG's comp, insanely difficult to pilot, I think, here. And T1 going 5 members bot, won't run into anyone from GENG, but you're looking at Pyke and Nidalee, 2 champions that are kind of famous for being feast or famine. You know, you get ahead, you can run over a game, you get behind, you are food for the opponents.
You're the road.
Exactly, you are very, very difficult to pilot these champions, but Canyon, his Nidalee is iconic. He has been dominating on it for so long. So you have to think if there's anyone that could pull off a comp like this against T1, it would be GENG.
First game in the series that there are no summoner spellbooks present. So no extra teleports, no extra smites. Junglers both having so much carry potential if they get ahead in this game.
Low engage compositions are environments that T1 thrive in. We'll see if they can make magic happen. GENG, the defending MSI champions, versus T1, the reigning world champions. A rivalry that has existed for so long, we couldn't have asked for anything better as both these teams push each other to the limit. This bot lane 2 versus 2, going to be a tough one for the GENG duo.
I'm also really wondering, if Ruler's going to be able to find good angles for ultimates, because there's basically zero setup for him, it feels like. It's just the Aurora to throw down the ult and try to slow you up, but there's not that hard CC to really lock someone in place to get that full channel bullet time.
I really was expecting the Ezreal to come through, having that extra bit of safety into this matchup specifically, but they wanted more AoE teamfighting power. Ruler and Duro going to be pushed back. Another hook connects. 2 for 2 now for Duro.
Nice hooks, but of course T1 has the push and they have the level advantage, so it's just a bit of poke. We are in Game 5 here, and I want to talk about these two teams and how they have performed in these Game 5s. T1, 19-4, it says in Game 5 win rates.
14.
Excuse me,
Sure.
It must be 19 and 14, exactly. And then over on the other side, it is a 65% win rate here for GENG in those Game 5s. So both teams have a solid track record here, but the pressure cannot be higher than in a moment like this.
Tri-lane camera shows how everything is starting off here with Doran having the push here in the top lane. Keria and Gumayusi doing the same in bottom. It's exactly what I expected, seeing those first 3 picks in the draft for T1. The powerful laning phases, allowing them to build advantages early. Doran's already proxy farming. He knows that Canyon should be at the bottom side of the map, and Canyon is there right now. Spear flies out, doesn't find anything. Airball on that one, as Canyon sees no opportunity here.
Credit to Ruler and Duro, considering the early pressure, they're really not that far behind at all in terms of farm. There will be a few CS, but Canyon gonna make his way towards that top crab, realizes that he's not in a position to fight for the bottom one. Faker struggling a little bit in the matchup, as Chovy, on this champion specifically, just loves to play in your face, chipping away at your HP bar as much as he can. The hook will miss from Duro.
Bone skewer. Nice hit from Canyon.
It is a good bit of poke, but Faker likely just going back to base anyway. So we'll be able to recall and TP back here, so not going to be too big of a deal. But it does mean Chovy's going to get the luxury of pushing in this extra wave before he has to base, and likely will deny a minion or two. Guma and Keria, anytime Canyon shows himself, they are going to be pushing relentlessly and trying to be farming this plate. They almost have knocked down their first plate already, and Owner's showing up on the top side.
Owner wants Keen. Doran's waiting for the flash follow. Ruthless Predator, Spectral Maw, T1, first blood.
And it goes to Owner. Viego wants to be ahead in the early game, and there's nothing complicated about this gank. The wave is just in a good spot for T1. They force the play. They have to commit the flash from Doran, but they make it happen. Keen losing his flash as well, and there's no cross-map play available for Canyon.
Which is really well done. Great setup. Doran had the wave, as you said, Vetty. Perfect spot. And there's not really any outplaying that for Keen. It's the flash stun to set it up. A guaranteed follow for Owner. No way he can get out. They're going to look for Faker, though.
Canyon, no spear connect means no gank success.
But I do love these drive-bys from Canyon. You can be so annoying as an Italy. You come in, you throw a spear, maybe throw down an auto or two, you heal your teammate, and that is just giving him basically an extra potion worth of HP. It slowly kind of pushes the lane in their favor. And because there was no camps really up and available, he's not spending any time, right? He's just doing a quick drive-by, throws a spear, sees if there's an angle, throws out a heal. He's being very efficient, and this is something you want to see from any top in Italy player.
Now Tion will initiate the swap. The Caitlyn going to be sent top lane. Keria going to start roaming around the map. He can probably help Faker a little bit in the mid lane. You can see him hovering around, just providing that extra bit of utility with the shields. The Pike now on the roam as well. Level 6 is really valuable for Duro. Having that execute just gives you that much more kill pressure. Ruler, though, looking to match Gumayusi on the top side.
500 gold lead for T1. Just the single kill so far in this game. Dragon is up down there in the bottom lane. You can see the ping from Owner, from T1, as the Viego moves to take that first objective. Not going to be contested. As you can see, Doran again just getting the better of his opponent in that 1v1 with Renekton versus Aatrox matchup. This is the time that we're seeing this game. Flash away from Keria there with pressure from Duro and Canyon. This is the time here in the match. If there's ever a time to stand up, that's the time to do it. T1, though, might just get dove. Make it rain, putting the pressure on. Gumayusi with a flash away. Between worlds goes Chovy, and Keria goes down. Guma goes with them. A double kill for Ruler.
GENG pull off the perfect dive there, juggling the aggro flawlessly. Keria and Guma get nothing back here. They do get a dragon on the bot side thanks to Owner, but what a big play for GENG to be able to pull off, and the perfect place for all the gold to go right into Ruler's pockets.
Chovy's base will be interrupted, but so much credit on that dive needs to be given to Duro because he flashes, threatening the hook onto Guma, which forces his flash out even earlier. This just sets up the whole rest of the play, given that Keria had just lost his flash in the river. With a no flash bot lane, the dive becomes easy to execute, and GENG find two.
And when you think about how Caitlyn Karma actually function in the MF, it's about poke, it's about chipping them down. This means Ruler's going to get to a way faster BT, is not going to be worried about the poke whatsoever. So let's watch this one more time. They see the Make It Rain comes through, slowing them down. The spear is there. Duro flashes, forcing out the flash, and then goes right through, drops the ignite. They can't quite finish him off, just barely gets out of range. And they know how much this means. A start like this could be that first start of the snowball to get rolling in their favor.
You can see the stress of the T1 fans in the audience. Of course, it's only the start of the game. Another point going to be secured for Faker.
It's going to get more intense from here, my friends. The Void Grubs spawning as Doran slices away from the Bone Skewer. Does not want to be caught there by Duro. Likely wouldn't be put in a position where he could actually die, but definitely doesn't want to lose out on all the HP as Owner is going after his second neutral objective of the game. He takes a single grub and backs away. They don't know where everybody on GENG is right now. We know that nobody was in the area, but T1 now knows that GENG is also in their jungle and they're scrambling to defend.
Daria did get the big raptor there, was able to take that away, and Owner wanted to defend his side. Doran's coming. They could look for a threatening.
Yeah, Doran potentially ready to block that Tri-Brush escape route, but Kennen and Duro, both these champions are so hyper-mobile, it's very easy for them to take non-traditional exits. So although they wanted to look for the red, T1 successfully defend.
It's pretty interesting that Owner just got one grub and then immediately went back to his bot side. He does not want to concede all these camps to Canyon. You know how quickly an Italy can run out of control in this early game if she's just allowed to free farm. Nice interrupt there from Faker onto Keen.
And I think Owner really was hoping that they were going to get more than just the defense, that they were going to get a fight, be able to actually collapse and force and maybe get a kill. Because that was a lot of time spent just to get that red. They're looking for Canyon.
Beautiful engage from Owner. Spectrum on Canyon. The Nidalee, no way out. A heartbreaker from Owner is a heartbreaker for GENG fans as the T1 squad gets a pick.
And Owner is now starting to get ahead here. Good hook onto Carry, who has that mana. But Owner right back to the grubs. It means they should be able to grab the full pack here. Owner with 2 kills. And he is getting ahead.
Carrier did a really good job of threatening Canyon, who was trying to clear out a ward. That meant that he pushed Canyon more to the left of the river, allowing for Owner to set up for that pick. Flash commits the stun, sets up for the kill, and as you rightly said, it's Owner that gets 2.
Duro, he wanted to try, I respect the effort, but Owner's got it on lock. All 3 grubs for T1.
Now we find ourselves in a very even game state once more. Of course, at the bottom of your screen, you see blue in favor of Doran, blue in favor of Owner, blue in favor of Faker. What was a very rough early lane matchup for him is now going much better after securing 2 plates in the top side. Gumiyushi is the only one that's actually behind in gold. But you could argue that who else could GENG want to be ahead in this position? Ruler sitting with all this gold, a completed BF sword, 10 minutes into the game. He's going to be the man to watch as we move into the mid game.
Yeah, as that Bloodthirster will be very hard to poke out. But again, I do question, will he be able to find the angle for that big ultimate? That really is going to be the trick. He's going to have to position himself very, very well because Faker, Doran, Owner are all going to be hunting for this MF and trying to stop him as soon as he pops that bullet time.
This, I feel like the first big fight we get is going to be so explosive. And I feel like whoever gets the first kill really is going to run away with the whole thing. Resets from Viego, massive. Resets from Pyke, also massive. And both teams without a true front line. The tankiest player on either side is a Bruiser, in a Renekton, or an Aatrox, but there's no real front lines in this game.
Faker taking a chunk of damage from Chovy, as we've seen so many times before when the 2 mid laners have met. You can feel the tension. Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. Neither side wanting to make that mistake. but you have to play with confidence. You can't afford to concede that space, and GENG doing just that. Good vision coverage around the bot river. Faker clears out that bot wave, allowing for T1 to have an avenue.
Ooh, the Bone Skewer came close on Keria. But if anybody knows the distance of Pyke's spells, it is this man. He will be able to keep his distance there from Duro. As GENG not confident enough to start the objective, but they still have control over the river itself. Duro with a miss on the Bone Skewer. Ruler gets slowed down. Keria looking for the root. Ton of damage on Ruler. Forced to cleanse to get away there, as he will heal back up. The Bloodthirster doing work as Canyon gets away from the charm from Faker. Chovy goes in between worlds. Bullet time over the top. Faker and Owner half HP as they disengage. Viego, no ulti. Doran arrives into the fight, but he arrives too late. He gets shot as soon as he lands, and T1 back off.
Yeah, Faker tried to flash in and find the charm, could not connect on it. And as a result, they kind of got exposed there. Chovy just throws down the ulti for that slow as they're retreating, and Ruler pushes them back with his ulti. Does earn them this dragon here. GENG don't get a kill, but do grab their first objective.
The more we watch GENG play this comp, the more I start to realize how patient they need to be. They have to land the poke from Canyon. They're waiting for a hook from Duro. Maybe the slow from Ruler to land a double up. They're basically just chipping away at T1's HP bars before they can find an opportunity to fight. T1, maybe they overstep, they over-aggress, fishing too hard for a pick, and then they get punished. Patience is key for GENG as T1 try to put on pressure.
You can see Owner now has that Triforce done. Is going to be doing a lot of damage, and Canyon has just rushed straight towards the Lich Bane. Major item completions are starting to come through. You know, Ruler has had that BT for a while, but Guma now has his Yundal. You can see Faker with the Malignance completed. Sundered Sky done for Keen, who didn't go for the tier 2 boots. So even though he is down on gold, he is quite strong here also.
Lich Bane, very powerful on Nidalee as long as you can get in range to get the empowered auto attack after. It means you cannot just be standing back as the artillery machine with the spears, which means everybody else needs to be ready. If one lands, everyone goes in, everybody goes for that kill. Sundered Sky completed for Keen's Aatrox. As you can see, Doran stopping to get the tier 2 boots first, still needs to make his way to the full Stride Breaker.
And I think that's one of the most difficult things about Nidalee is understanding exactly how much damage you're going to put out if you do elect to actually pounce in there. It is so risky. You have to be certain that you are going in and you are going to be able to finish off that kill. Otherwise, you're so incredibly squishy that it's almost certainly going to mean your death. And Canyon is a master of this champion, best Nidalee in the world. We'll see if he can make it work for himself, as he has so many times before in these high-pressure situations.
Duro goes fishing for Gumayusi, but he finds nothing. Canyon and Ruler trying to get a little bit of poke themselves, but it's Gumayushi's built over Peacemaker that applies the damage first. The Bloodthirster from Ruler is providing so much value in this game. Whenever he gets hit by these Peacemakers, whenever he gets hit by anything from the Karma or from the Ahri, as long as it's not a charm, it's very easy for Ruler to just heal right back up as long as there's minions nearby, so that T1 never feel the confidence to try to fully engage.
Keen has moved away from bot lane. Faker is alone, and he will take over to level 11. He does have his TP available as the Herald is spawned, and he's going to look for a quick reset. Spend what money he can ahead of the fight, be as strong as he possibly can be. Doran is very low and doesn't have TP available.
Faker pushing the tier 1 turret in the bottom lane the entire time. The skill shots fly back and forth in mid. Keen and Chovy will start up the Herald, but T1 can sense something is going wrong here. Owner jumps in for the Spectral Maw on Duro, but he misses. Doran looking off to the side, but he's already been chunked. T1 bringing in the TP as GENG go after the Herald. It is claimed and secured by Canyon. Keen trying to get away from the Karma Root as Doran goes over the wall. Flash Ruthless Predator. Doran is low. Bullet time gets him. Gumayusi barely staying alive, but it's 2 kills back the other way. Chovy stepping up. Doran and Owner down, traded for Keen.
An aggressive flash from Doran to set up the fight onto Keen. They think that if they can start to get the resets off onto Owner, then they can start to snowball this fight, but they go a little too deep and the fight doesn't go their way.
And I should never have doubted Ruler. This man is finding ulti after ulti as the flash in here from Doran, but Ruler just steps back and finds a massive bullet time channeled across everyone. Guma has to bury, he has to flash out. Everyone has to retreat there from T1 as the counter engage was just perfect from GENG.
It certainly was. Just The wombo combo provided, T1 had to immediately backstep, and Owner realized, oh no, I am way too deep and I do not have the support. GENG now with a confident gold lead, 1.2k the advantage, and Dragon only 55 seconds away.
This game 5 delivering, staying close. It's the feat of warfare for T1. It is the feat of turrets for GENG, and it is 2-2 on neutral objectives. This Dragon will decide the feats, the boots, overall for whoever claims it. 1,000 gold lead for GENG as Doran is pushing up the wave here on the top side. Both top laners have their teleports available to use.
The question to me is, will T1 try to fight it? They're missing a lot of critical flashes. There are some missing on the other side as well, but no flash on Viego, Renekton, Caitlyn. Feels like it would be a very dangerous fight to take.
Duro again going fishing with the bone skewers. Keen lands the Infernal Chains on the carry, but the Karma's plenty fast enough to step away. Chovy going between worlds, carry the target here at the very start, as now Doran's going to be burst down very quickly. Q3 won't kill him, and GENG don't get their man just yet. Doran's still getting away as Chovy gets enough damage, and Keen gets the kill. GENG execute, and Doran falls.
Faker is doing what he can on the other side of the map. He secures the tower, he continues to push in the wave, but GENG will not slow down. Duro is fishing for a hook, he will be spotted, but they find themselves a pick. They set their sights on the tower, and GENG is quickly taking control of this game.
And T1 just really weren't in position to take that fight. Owner was looking for a potential flank there, but everyone from GENG showed up. Faker's in bot lane doesn't have his teleport, so it's then a very difficult start to the fight because it's essentially a 5v3 for GENG as the fight does kick off. And T1 just don't really have the ability to fight back in that situation.
Infinity Edge now finished for Ruler. The AD carry of GENG. The return of Ruler to GENG. He is the main carry to watch and is the man that T1 needs to shut down.
Drake shouldn't be truly contested here. Doran's hanging around. But Renekton can't do anything over the wall, and Canyon and GENG claim the next Drake.
And the feats of strength there. They're going to get the upgraded boots off the back of that. T1 just not feeling that they are in a position to really get anything done. Faker has spent a ton of time in the side lane, and as a result, is the only player on his team with a gold lead. So he is going to have to find a big moment to equalize things because everyone else is falling behind.
I completely agree. His charm could be the difference maker. Ruler with the cleanse available. But if they can get that summoner spell out, Faker finding or utilizing the fog of war, I should say, coming out from an angle that can catch them off guard. Ahri is the type of champion that can change games off a single play.
It really can. I mean, even with the cleanse, sometimes the damage could be too much. Also, Canyon, very susceptible to those plays. Duro, if he goes in and gets charmed, could also be very vulnerable. There's so many squishy members on GENG that if T1 can really execute that engage perfectly, they can punish them. You can see, though, Chovy and Canyon both heading down for Doran, who is going to be backing off and playing respectful to the fact he's actually going to TP out, so very nervous that the collapse. Thought someone might have been behind him, and I think that's why he's TPing out.
Maybe they're forcing Otacon.
They're just going to start it.
Yeah, they're going to take the opportunity to say, all right, we think that they're overloading down here in the bot side. Let's go into the top side instead.
Chovy has no TP. It's not up yet.
Are going after the Otacon. It's already down to half HP. Duro and Ruler stepping up. Doran taking a little bit of damage as the bullet time flies out. Doran, 1/3 HP. It buys enough time for GENG to try to revive. Kanan has made his way into the objective. Looking to slide it down. Canyon's niddly. Gets the Otacon. Gumayushi caught between worlds. And GENG take him straight to hell. Keen, wings spread wide, looks for more. Canyon misses the spear. Keen hits the Q2, needs a little bit more damage, trying to find it. Chovy forces a flash, and GENG stand tall.
T1 force the Otacon. T1 bring the fight to GENG, but it is Ruler's ultimate that pushes them back. It is Canyon that secures the smite, and it is Gumayushi that falls.
And Chovy just barely didn't have his TP when Doran TP'd up. So I think T1 were thinking maybe we had more time without Chovy having that teleport. Maybe it's going to be a 5v4. But Chovy's teleport came up just in the nick of time. He arrives, sets up for that big bullet time, and then it is just a rout. There's no flash on Guma. They pile in, they take him. Canyon wins the smite. And Gen G getting very far ahead now.
League of Legends, especially at the top level, is a game of inches. It is a game of seconds. It is a game where the smallest things can make the biggest difference. Chovy arriving in time. Canyon with the smite secure. Gen G with a lead in Drakes with a 3,000 gold advantage are looking good. 22 minutes into this final game of the Grand Finals.
Faker, the only member that remains deathless on the side of T1. Owner hasn't given up, looks for a play onto Chovy, forces him back, but he will not fall, he will not burn the flash. You can feel how desperate the situation is for T1. The game is quickly slipping away from them, and they need to find plays where they can.
The two I'm looking for that, Vedius, Owner and Faker, both with 2 fully completed items. Leandri's Malignance on Faker's Ahri, Trinity Force plus the Collector on Owner. High damage potential here between these two. Faker also with the Oblivion Orb to cut down some of the healing.
And I think Guma should have IE on this base. He's been sitting on Pickaxe Cloak for a long time. So we'll see if he does have it. No, he doesn't. He's still short, just has the BF sword, so is going to be a ways off from that big spike. And as a result, T1, they're going to have to make a tough choice here around this next dragon. Do we want to fight at this dragon here? Because if you lose this fight in a minute, it could be curtains on this game. So they have to make a decision. Are you willing to give up that soul point and put Gen G 1 dragon away from a Mountain Soul?
And when you think about Caitlyn, you think about the setups for neutral objectives. You think about the line of Yordle snap traps to make your opponents have to check into you. But for T1, when you're down 3,500 gold, it's so difficult to go and try to get to the area first. It's utterly dominated by Gen G vision.
A 3.4k gold lead. Mountain Dragon, 25 seconds away. T1 could look to concede this objective, perhaps cross map, secure that top tower, get a bit of gold back for themselves. Now with the Infinity Edge finished for Gumayusi, perhaps gold should be the priority. But what will they do about Ruler, ticking over to level 14?
And we can remember back to the World's 2023 semifinals when Faker was on Azir and he found Ruler when Ruler was on JDG, and he found the angle to win there. Now can his Ahri find a similar opportunity? Gen G setting up here in the bot side river. Gumayusi has his Infinity Edge on the Caitlyn. Gen G already with the objective, down to 5,000. Faker and Doran over the backside of the pit looking for their entry here into the fight. The Drake down to 3k. Chovy going between worlds. T1 forced away. Drake claimed by Ruler. Now Owner and Faker here with the very start. Reset for Owner. He's low, but he ain't dead yet. Keen goes in for the killing spree. Stunned up by Doran, but Ruler is still ready to fire. Doran wants to slice and dice, but it's a double kill to Keen. Chovy still chasing. Faker only tagged with a 2-fold hex.
Faker found the charm and Owner found the kill onto Canyon, but not before Gen G got the dragon, and Gen G win the fight anyway.
The plays were not enough. The Baron is now alive, and Gen G feel monstrous. They feel like a mountain that cannot be overcome. We look back at the play and it's Canyon that does get targeted. Faker finds an incredible angle, but the response from Gen G is simply to fight back. A beautiful charm, the collapse Owner, but look at the ulti from Ruler. Duro keeping the bot lane distracted, then Ruler turns his attention to Gumayusi, forces him to flash out. Doran left isolated as his team retreats, and Keen converts it into a double.
And while the T1 solo laners went deep and did actually kill off Canyon alongside Owner, the problem becomes Guma and Keria then cannot join the fight. They cannot walk through Chovy with Ruler behind him, having that ultimate available, being able to push him back. It's been very difficult for T1 to find a way to get Guma involved in these team fights. It hasn't felt like he's really been able to get much done.
What a game state for Gen G here in game number 5. Soul point, 5,000 gold lead, really in a commanding position against their longtime rivals as they take control over the topside river.
And look at the experience difference here. Ruler level 15, Doran is not yet 14. Ruler has just been vacuuming up so much experience that he is really, really strong. Not only does he have that big gold lead, not only does he have the item lead, he has the upgraded boots, he has all the additional stats from being all these levels higher. He is going to be so tough to deal with.
Big chunk there onto Carria with the spear. Now GenG's got to be a little bit careful. Owner goes in for the Spectral Maul, but Duro dashing back away. TP coming in as GenG immediately trying to go after Doran. A lot of damage back onto him with the bullet time over the top, but they ain't going to find a kill here just yet. Chovy looking to get away. Keen unstoppable. Nobody on GenG is down. Keen with a double kill. And GenG are so much better in the team fights.
Their efforts are not enough. T1 cannot find a single member, and with the Baron available, GenG will secure it. Now T1 being shepherded by Duro, they look to secure a tower. They're trying their best to escape. Duro will let them free as the Baron is secured.
Able to get the Baron there. Chovy came so close to dying, but he's able to get out. And the ace in the hole was blocked as well. They couldn't finish him off. They couldn't get that critical first kill to try to start the snowball. And GenG are too far ahead. If you can't get that first kill, you just can't win the fights. Ruler now on the third item here. We can watch it one more time. Doran decides that it is go time. The teleport was coming in here, and GenG realized they have got to defend this teleport. They can't allow Chovy to be isolated from the rest of the team. So as they go in, Doran gets hooked, and he just flashes in the midst of everyone, putting that pressure on. But then the turn here on to Chovy. He is rooted up. He is burst incredibly low, but look at Owner chasing after him. Can't get the last hits to finish him off.
Keen not only body blocks the ultimate from Caitlyn, but also gets the kill onto Owner. Keen acting as both defense and offense in that play as he swings the fight in their favor.
Throughout this series, Keen has had strong individual performances on his top lane matchups. And here in this game, 6-2-1, he's feeling great on the Aatrox. Turret destroyed, down there in the bottom lane. A Baroned up GenG, 8,000 gold ahead. Duro with a Bone Skewer onto Faker. It's not a kill, but it gets the Spirit Rush. Without the ulti, the Ahri is so much weaker, and the last bit of damage from the twofold Hex return into the Electrocute puts Faker at 5% HP. Once the Liandry's is done burning, he's got to recall. He's got to go back to the fountain, and T1 have got to try to stabilize because GenG are bleeding them out.
And no one is going to be able to answer the top lane. Doran was trying to push out that bot lane wave to be able to answer there, but you can see Keen was pushing in the top side. They take the tier 2 mid. They're stealing away the top side jungle as well. GenG just getting further and further ahead here. 10 seconds just about until that soul will be available for them. Keen has got to get out of here, but T1, they may need to try to chase. They can't do it.
Going for that chase may have lost them valuable time because GenG is already back out onto the map. You'll see Duro making his way towards the bot side river. Ruler right behind him. Chovy going to push out that mid wave. A flawless performance from the man in mid. 1-0-9 the scoreline, 100% kill participation. And Ruler will waste no time securing this dragon.
T1 are in a desperate spot. They needed to chase after Keen because they've got to find any opportunity they can, but the cost is the inability to fight for the Dragon Soul. It is Mountain Soul claimed by GenG.
And now I think the only hope for T1 is you try to buy time until an Elder spawn and you pray that you can somehow get over there and steal it, but GenG I don't think are going to give you that time. They are so far ahead at this point. 7,000 gold, Mountain Soul against a composition that needs that first kill, that needs the upfront burst, and is now going to have to do so much more of it if they want to be able to get anything done.
And back at the very beginning of this game, before minions even spawned, Isaac, you were talking about the difficulty in piloting this composition for GenG, the burden of execution on the champions they've chosen, and the #1 team from the #1 region in the world is showing why they sit at the summit.
Exactly, that's why GenG is GenG. You can see these luxury items starting to come through as well. The Zonia's is done for Canyon. A QSS purchased by Keen, as well as the Warden's Mail. He knows, I don't need more damage. I just need to not get one shot, and we will win this game.
Faker chunked down to half. Duro and Keen putting in a little bit of damage on him. T1, they have no flash on Doran. There's no opportunity to try to go in for that Ruthless Predator play. You can see the Spectral Maw charging onto Owner, but it's so difficult to try to go anywhere near GenG at this point. They're stepping up, and they're putting the pressure onto the tier 3 turret in mid. Doran tries to slice forward, but he instantly loses half HP.
GenG are on the precipice of greatness here.
Oh, a lot of damage there onto Duro, but he'll be all right. He dashes backwards. Owner trying to clear out the chickens, get something while they defend here.
They have been perfect the entire split long in the LCK. Didn't drop a single series. They have been perfect at MSI. all the way through the winner's bracket, did not drop a single series. Something that has never been done before, and GENG getting closer and closer to being able to accomplish that.
All right, GENG with victory within their grasp. It is 4 minutes until the Elder spawns, but it is less than a minute and a half until Baron returns to the Rift. For T1, that is a scary prospect. GENG controls the entire map. It is so dangerous for T1 to step out anywhere into this. GENG, they know it. They're shoving up the waves. They're making that fear palpable for T1, as you could see how dark the fog of war is right now.
GENG putting pressure across the entire map. T1 will need a miracle. The magic of this roster has been seen before, and they will need to find it in order to turn this game around.
It is an incredibly desperate situation, but if there's one man you would put your faith in to try to make that play, to find that moment in a situation like this, it would be Faker. By far the most clutch player we have ever seen touch the game. Has made a career out of moments like that, pulling back impossible games. We'll see if he can do it one more time here against GENG.
GENG with control over the top side river. Baron, 10 seconds away. Owner will step forward to clear out one of the control wards. Nidalee trap placed down there. As Owner again just trying to make sure he does not take damage while T1 steps up. GENG. Canyon jumps back away. The Mountain Soul Shield absorbing most of the damage from Gumayusi's auto attack. GENG, with their lead, have control over the mid lane wave. They'll get it shoved out, and they'll move back into the river.
I mean, just look at the shield on Ruler. The Bloodthirster shield plus the Mountain Soul shield is so much to get through, and they can just sustain off of this Baron. They're going to start it up and force T1's hand.
GENG daring T1 to answer them at the Baron. Chovy and Duro are the ones in position to try to interrupt. Faker goes in for the flash charm, but he won't find it. Owner looking for a chance to steal with the bullet time, immediately forcing him all the way away. He tries to survive, but Canyon will bury him in the river. GENG, Baron +1.
Faker tries his best to find a play onto Chovy, but he will not allow it. Chovy holds the line, Owner falls, and with the Baron, GENG's last push as they set their sights on the title of MSI.
GENG with the push in the top and mid lane simultaneously. Doran and the rest of T1 trying to defend. It is still 20 seconds until Owner is back alive. The Baron minions have made their way to the Nexus turrets. The first already half dead as GENG changed their attention over to the mid lane tier 3.
The pressure is unrelenting. The wave clear just isn't there for T1. Now 2 inhibitors fall. It's simply a matter of time.
Owner is back alive. The last stand of T1. Doran slices forward, but it won't matter. The first Nexus turret is already about to die. T1 struggling to defend. Duro with a bone skewer. T1 backing away. GENG with a massive advantage already in the health bars as Guma's chunked to half. Chovy goes between worlds. Guma goes down. Keria goes down. GENG, they did not falter on the road to MSI. They didn't fail here in Vancouver for 23 series. They have chased perfection, and now they found it.
GENG have done the impossible, a perfect split into a perfect international tournament here. This team truly has achieved the closest thing to perfection you can do in League of Legends. Absolutely insane. Many times they were pushed to the brink. Every single time they stood tall. And now finally they can reap their rewards.
They are not just MSI champions. They are back-to-back MSI champions.
Simply an incredible run from GENG. They sought perfection and they have found it. T1 pushed them to the very brink, but it simply wasn't enough. The reigning MSI champions will hold on to their title and bask in its glory.
What a series. What a journey for this team. Never falling to the lower bracket. Game 5s, yeah, they were challenged, but every challenge they met with skill. They earned their victory, and now we're handing things down to Lore with our winning team.
Thank you so much. 도로 선수, 룰러 선수, 송이 축하드립니다.
감사합니다. 감사합니다.
Vancouver, please for your MSI champions. Duro, this was your first international. This is your very first international victory in Game 5, playing Pyke, a risky champion. Tell me about the confidence to play this champion, and why did you think it was going to be the one that was going to bring you the victory today?
듀로 선수 첫 국제대회였고 첫 국제대회에서 이렇게 우승까지 이루어냈습니다. 5꽉 경기 끝에 승리하셨는데요. 5세트 정말 중요한 순간에 파이크가 등장했습니다. 굉장히 하이 리스크 챔피언인데요. 어떤 자신감으로 파이크를 뽑을 수 있었는지, 그리고 5세트란 순간에서 파이크가 왜 우리가 필요한 픽이다라고 결정하셨나요?
일단 파이크 말고 다른 선택지가 진짜 너무 애매했어가지고 애매한 거 해서 캐틀 카르마한테 망하는 것보다는 자 클렉 한번 노려보자 해서 자신도 있고 해서 파이크를 뽑게 된 것 같습니다.
I had several other options and they were pretty meh and mid. So instead of going for this mid options, I would rather go with Pyke because I didn't want to get smacked by Caitlyn Karma in lane. You know, I wanted to go for the high risk play and make something clutch happen, and I was pretty confident about the pick.
Giga chat attitude from an international rookie ruler. You're the first player to win MSI with 2 different teams from 2 different regions. Now, I remember that when we had a chat at the beginning of MSI, you were telling me that you did not have the confidence that you had with JDG in 2023. Do you have that confidence back today?
룰러 선수, 오늘의 우승과 함께 최초로 2개의 팀에서 MSI 우승한 선수가 되었고 최초로 2개의 지역에서 MSI 타이틀을 거머쥔 선수가 되었습니다. 사실은 MSI 초반에 저희가 인터뷰를 나누었을 때 아직 23년도 징동에서만큼의 자신감을 갖고 있지 않다라고 하셨는데 이제 자신감 많이 찾으셨나요?
아직은 아닌 것 같아요. 아직은 아닌 것 같고 그래도 제일 잘 한다고 말할 수는 있을 것 같다 생각합니다. 이번 MSI에서는.
Actually, not yet. But I can say for sure that I am the best player here at MSI.
Duro, you entered this year with a challenge, joining one of the most successful orgs that we have in League of Legends history. Having to write your own page in history, actually, how do you reflect on the achievements that you gained as a player from GENG with this run, and especially now that you're the MSI champion?
듀로 선수 올해는 정말 큰 도전이었습니다. LOL 역사상 정말 가장 성공적인 팀 중인 하나인 젠지에 합류하면서 스스로를 끊임없이 증명하셔야 했는데요. 이렇게 MSI 챔피언이 되신 만큼 본인이 이룬의 성과 그리고 성장에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시나요?
일단은 이 말을 먼저 해야 될 것 같습니다. 젠지가 저를 좋게 봐주셔서 이 자리까지 오게 된 것 같고요. 이제 뭐 저의 성장도 있겠지만 이제 다른 형들이 나머지 4명 형들이 너무 저를 케어를 잘해 주셔가지고 당연히 감토님들도 케어를 잘해 주시고 해서 제가 충분히 이 자리까지 오게 될 수 있지 않았나 싶네요.
I want to say this first off. I was able to make it all the way to here because GENG thought really highly of me, and I'm very grateful for that. And also, it's just not about me doing well. It's just the rest of the 4 players taking really good care of me. Also, the coaching staff. So I want to say thank you to everyone who helped me to reach where I'm at right now.
Now, Ruler, I know that you were hungry for international experience, especially after missing out last year. What does this victory mean to you today, now that you're back and the champion again?
또 룰러 선수는 작년에 국제대회를 참여하지 못하면서 이에 대한 갈증이 굉장히 크다고 하셨는데 이렇게 국제대회 무대로 돌아오셨고 이렇게 오늘 우승을 만들어내셨습니다. 지금 어떠신가요?
진짜 정말 너무 행복하고요. 일단 우선 행복하고 안 울어요. 이렇게 LCK에서 주관하는 그리고 그런 대회들을 다 계속 나가는 게 어쨌든 제 목표고 거기서 증명하는 게 저의 가장 궁극적인 목표인데 계속 그렇게 이런 데 나와서 이렇게 증명하게 된 것 같아서 너무 행복하고 이제 그냥 모든 대회 다 나가서 이렇게 우승하고 싶네요.
First off, the crowd, don't cry, Ruler. He was like, I'm not crying. I am very, very happy at this moment. And I also mentioned my goal as a professional player is just participating in these Riot events and keep proving myself. And I think today's victory means that I proved myself, which makes me really happy. I just want to keep on going, keep on participating, keep on making appearances, and keep on winning.
And I think that, Duro, you also proved yourself today. Now, I know that you and people already call you Madu Life, but what kind of support do you want to be remembered as?
듀로 선수도 오늘 이 자리에서 본인 스스로를 성공적으로 증명해내셨습니다. 이미 많은 팬분들이 매 듀라이프라고 부를 정도로 듀로 선수의 놀라운 플레이에 대한 칭찬을 아끼지 않는데요. 개인적으로 어떤 서포터로서 기억되고 싶으신가요?
제 우상이 매드라이프 선수였는데 그때 시절에 매드라이프 선수가 진짜 획을 기울 정도로 엄청난 명성을 떨치시고 이제 많은 롤의 역사를 뒤바꾸셨는데 저도 그 정도 매드라이프 선수님만큼 명성을 쌓고 실력도 쌓을 수 있는 그런 선수가 되고 싶습니다.
In fact, Mad Life was my idol. When I started, I always looked up to him because he's a support player that opened a new chapter of the role as a support. He has untouchable reputation, and I just want to be like him. I just wish my performance could be as good as Mad Life. I just want to have the reputation as good as Mad Life, so I'm just going to keep grinding and keep going forward.
And you're absolutely writing your page in the history there. Now, I would like to ask them to share some words for their fans. 팬분들께 한마디 해주세요.
나부터 할게. 제가 이 자리에 있기까지 정말 많은 팬분들의 좀 도움이 있었는데요. 그래서 좀 뭐랄까 정말 그냥 이렇게 환호해 주시는 것도 너무 감사하고 그냥 모든 게 다 감사할 따름이라서 앞으로도 계속 좋은 모습 보여드리면서 저희 팀원들이랑 다 같이 나갈 수 있는 대회 다 나가면서 우승할 수 있는 모습 계속 보여드리고 잘하는 모습 보여드려서 계속 이렇게 환호성 받을 수 있게끔 할 테니까 또 많은 응원 부탁드리고 염치 없지만 항상 감사하고 오늘 하루도 좋은 하루 보내시길 바라겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Because of your support, because of your love, I was able to make it all the way here. Even this cheer coming from the crowd is what makes me happy. So I wish I can continue a great performance with my teammates, make it to every possible international and every event, and keep on winning titles in order to get more crowd cheering for us. So I would like to ask for one more cheer for me to keep going forward. Thank you very much. I love you.
Oh, thank you. 이제 제가 LCK 컵 때부터 지금까지 오는 과정 중에서 정말 안 좋은 모습도 많이 보여드리고 잘하는 모습도 많이 보여드리는 그런 다사다난한 일들이 많았는데 당연히 여러분의 응원 덕분이기도 하고 젠지 관계자분들 그리고 감코 코치 감코 선수 형들 다 저한테 격려나 응원 그리고 케어 이런 걸 너무 잘해 주셔가지고 여기까지 올 수 있었던 것 같습니다. 물론 이게 끝은 아니지만 월즈까지 이대로 쭉 이어나갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Ever since the LCK Cup, there was a lot of ups and downs. I hit the bottom, bounced back. We were just going through all the thick and the thin. But thanks to the support from the fans and also the support from everyone working at GENG, the coaching staff, my teammates, we were able to make it happen. But this is not the end. I will make sure to keep this rolling until Worlds. Thank you so much.
It is just the beginning for this roster. Now, we have to honor another player from GENG. The 2025 OPPO Finals MVP. Chovy. A round of applause for Chovy. Chovy, congratulations, amazing performance today, amazing performance this MSI, but I remember that a couple days ago we talked about you standing once again at the top, and you were telling media that you were pressured about standing once again at the top. How do you feel now that you're the champion and the MVP of MSI?
축하드립니다. 조비 선수 며칠 전 인터뷰에서 다시 한번 결승 무대를 밟고 다시 한번 우승에 도전한다는 점에서 어느 정도의 부담이나 압박감도 있다고 하셨는데요. 이렇게 우승하셨고 또 파이널 MVP까지 되셨는데 어떠신가요?
사실 이제 다시 우승한다고 했을 때 어느 정도의 부담감과 압박감은 있었지만 오늘 경기하면서 그냥 이렇게 잘하는 경기력으로 상대랑 주고받고 하는 과정들이 너무 즐거웠고 그냥 경기 자체가 즐거우니까 부담감과 압박감보다는 그냥 오늘 너무 잘하고 싶다라는 생각이 들었는데 그게 이제 MVP까지 받을 정도로 좋은 실력을 보인 것 같아서 너무 만족스럽습니다.
Of course, challenging to win another title, going for the back-to-back title is a pressure, but throughout the series today, I realized the performance of both sides was so on point. It was going back and forth, and I was enjoying the process. I was just having so much fun playing the series. And then I realized because I was having so much fun and enjoying the moment, all the pressure goes away. I want to just focus on me performing well, and I think I was able to prove by winning this finals MVP. I'm very glad.
And winning MSI, winning one title is already very hard. A few players get to do it. Winning again, back-to-back, is even harder. What is your drive? What is your motivation? What pushes you to thrive and push yourself harder every time?
MSI 우승하는 것 자체가 굉장히 쉽지 않습니다. 소수의 선수만이 이뤄낼 수 있는 그런 목표인데요. 2번 연속 우승하는 것은 더 어렵습니다. 초비 선수는 이런 위대한 업적을 이뤄내셨는데요. 본인의 동기부여가 무엇인지 어떻게 해서 끊임없이 더 나은 선수를 되기 위해서 노력하시면서 이 자리까지 오실 수 있으셨나요?
일단 저 개인적으로도 노력하는 것도 있지만 같이 경기를 하는 선수들과 그리고 또 경기를 잘할 수 있게 도와주는 감독 코치님과 젠지 관계자분들이 너무 힘을 써주셔서 이렇게 좋은 결과 낼 수 있는 것 같고 사실 동기부여라면 그냥 뭐 프로게이머로서 그냥 만족하지 않고 계속 그 다음을 바라보고 더 잘하는 걸 목표로 두기에 가능한 거 아닌가 싶습니다.
I want to say first, it's not just about me performing well in order to win the title today. It's just everyone worked so hard for the moment. The teammates, the coaching staff, even everyone working on the GENG side supported us so well, so we were able to accomplish this. Well, my motivation, I want to say, just being a professional player, you just always want to keep on achieving more. You should not settle. You should always aim forward and push yourself to reach there.
Then what is the next step for you, Chovy? What is the next step in your journey?
그렇다면 초비 선수의 여정, 다음 목표는 무엇인가요?
일단 다음 목표는 사실 뭐 EWC도 있고 뭐 정규 리그도 있겠지만 아무래도 가장 큰 목표는 월드 우승이 아닌가 싶습니다.
Of course, I have several tournaments ahead of me. For example, EWC, the regular season. But first and foremost, winning Worlds.
So do you have any closing thoughts for the Churchill Trophy today to support you, who supported you, and who shows the confidence that you're going to win Worlds this year?
마지막으로 초비교 신자분들 있죠. 철초 초비분들에게 여태까지 항상 믿고 기다려줬고 또 초비 선수 월드 우승 말씀하셨잖아요. 당연히 할 수 있다고 믿으시는 팬분들께 한마디 부탁드립니다.
일단 저를 계속 믿어주신 팬분들께 항상 감사드리고 그리고 또 오늘 경기로 믿어주시는 팬분들께 그 믿음에 맞는 보답을 한 것 같아서 너무 기쁘고 팬분들이 계속 믿어주시니까 저도 포기하지 않고 계속 성장하면서 꼭 좋은 결과 내도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you so much for trusting me. And I want to say I was able to kind of repay your belief, your trust, your support in me by winning the series today. I will keep on doing my best in order to make you guys keep on believing me. Thank you so much.
Now to all the players, GENG, congratulations once again on being the MSI champion. Vancouver, please a round of applause one last time for your champions. And thank you all so much for the incredible support, for the incredible energy and atmosphere that you gave us for this MSI to make this tournament unforgettable. Thank you all so much, Vancouver. One last time.
GENG are your champions, Vancouver. We've got an extra treat for you because Ruler is joining the desk in just a little bit. We've got a lot to ask him, but first, I do need to talk to my analysts about the sovereign Game 5 that GENG was able to play, which is not easy when you're up against a T1 specifically in this situation, Maurits.
It's just insane to me that no matter how many times teams try,